my concern is I always hear no being left behind, no being left behind. So what can I do and what can we do as a collective to make sure that we help as many people wake up during this time and hopefully make a shift if they need to make a shift, if they want to make a shift? And are there any frequencies or cheat codes for this matrix that can help us to even keep ourselves in that higher vibe? Because you put some music on when you first started, and I find music to be one of the biggest things to change my mood. So I have like a whole playlist of like cheesy old music that, you know, I love from the 80s. So cheat codes, what can we do? And what would be your message to humanity to really just kind of be able to bombard those negative frequencies and raise the energy?
So understand that in order to raise the energy, what is most helpful and what you want your intention to be is, again, to rise above that mental construct that you all have active within your own system. So individually, you all have those mental constructs active. And what your mental constructs are, again, are the beliefs and the ideas and the thought forms that you hold in your mind that very often have been programmed and conditioned into you by your caregivers or by your experience or by your culture at a young age. So the game, if you will, is to start to rise above that construct so that you can see it from a higher perspective and you start to examine it and decide what is still helpful or what is still serving both me and the collective. What is serving in terms of this perspective of interconnection instead of separation, and what beliefs and thought forms and ideas do I need to let go of? So you start to rise above the mental construct and you start to pick it apart, almost like you're filtering, you're sifting, right? And you're retaining that which is still feels resonant to you, and you're starting to let go of everything that feels dissonant. So that is the practice. And now we have offered meditation as probably the most efficient way to do that. But what's true, and we have described before, is that there are also many other ways to do that. And you may wish to incorporate many of these activities into your human experience in order to rise above the human mental construct. What works for many is being out in nature in terms of being in the forest, being on a beach, being in the mountains. So disconnecting from that energy field of the mental construct. Understand that when you are living in urban areas where there's a more dense population, that collective energy field of the mental construct is more influential to you because you are all interconnected. So for some of you, you may have to actually leave those urban areas, not necessarily move, although we're not saying don't move, but you may need to get out of those areas in terms of go to a more rural area where there is a less of an energy field in terms of mental construct, so that you can disconnect yourself, you can unplug from that influence. Because what's true is that it's likely that is influencing you more than you understand. And this is why you need the practice of meditation, so that you can rise above that frequency, that radio station of the human mental construct, and start to see, number one, see it, because if you see it, you're not it. And number two, start to sift and sort through and decide which thought forms, ideas, and beliefs are serving you and serving the perspective of interconnection, serving the whole, and which ones you wish to let go of. So meditation, being out in nature, and then for many of you, the act of doing something creative, right? Like painting or drawing or writing, that often will get you out of the mental construct and into the zone of creativity. And we like to say that source is the source of true creativity. So when you're doing something creative, what's true is that you're almost always also connecting to source energy in those activities.
That's beautiful. And I totally resonate with all of that. We are here to create. Art is creating. And we are creative beings, and that's part of our gift, is to be able to create so many wonderful things. And even I'm learning, as the ETs look at us as these divine creators, but yet they have these superpowers, we still are able to create music and do things that they can't even do, you know, we're at their level. So that's beautiful. And I always tell people, art for meditation, because of people who can't seem to sit still or have ADD or their mind flows. I find that you can meditate through driving with music. You can meditate through just, you know, even sometimes putting on something comforting that you don't have to really pay attention to. So it just distracts the mind a little bit. Reading a book. So people don't always have to go in and sit in a quiet room and just sit there like, oh, because I think
Right.
that's intimidating to a lot of people when they try it and they can't
Yes.
do it, like myself.
Yes.
But there's so many other ways that you can, even taking a bath in the shower. I mean, in the shower, you get so many downloads. So
Yeah.
there's, okay. So my last question, because I know you've been so generous with your time.
Let
Can
us
you
just
tell-
tack on one more
sure,
activity.
please.
For some of you, it's exercise that will do the trick in terms of removing you from your mental construct. Because to exercise, often what happens is that your focus shifts from the mind down into the body, and that is very helpful too. So for some of you, in terms of, you know, you need to run, you need to walk, you need to go to the gym, whatever you need to do, but that's just one activity that will tack on that also can elevate you out of the mental construct. Now, the trick is to stay there even after the exercise has ended. But that is another activity that is very beneficial for many of you at this time.
Okay, so I feel like you're talking to me specifically because I've been debating, like, I have to start walking and running more. I have to get my energy up. And then yesterday, people are sending me things about, oh, it feels like lifting weights. And do you feel this energy of getting, going to the gym? So I have to take that and start really walking to get my, voltage and get all that energy to course through me.
Yes.
So for the next 5 years, what can you and your guides and all of your team and collective and Oversoul and whoever is out there with you, what can you guys share with us so that we can be best prepared, so that as these things are going to occur, because there's going to be major events that are still going to be happening to wake people up, because unfortunately a lot more people have to be woken up by that to see how crazy and ridiculous this whole illusion is. What can we do as these things are unfolding, aside from meditation, aside from all that, that you guys could see from the big picture, just to help everybody quell the anxieties that they seem to be feeling during this time?
Well, we would say that probably the most beneficial thing that you can do, not only for you, but also your family members, is to start to disconnect very deliberately and consciously from the false broadcast that is media, the media broadcasts that are false. So be very aware and conscious of how you feel when you are receiving any sort of media, whether that is in any source. It could be YouTube, it could be the mainstream media, it doesn't matter. What's most important in terms of your media consumption is that you pay attention to how you feel as that media is hitting your energy body. Because what's true is that if it invokes a sensation of particularly fear, but also anger or injustice, or if it is very activating in your system, what's true is that that is not really contributing to that feeling of peace that you're going to need within the unfoldment of the next 5 years and for the rest of your life, really. You want to make your intent in terms of, energetically speaking, in terms of creating a safe and nurturing energetic environment for yourself and your families. You want to start to think of what's coming into your home, energetically speaking. And what's true is that for most households, the dominant frequency coming in is just being broadcast in through the media with no filter, no thought to how is this feeling in my energy body? How is this impacting my children or my spouse or my partner or whoever? So we'd say the number one thing, aside from meditation, of course, is to start to be very discerning about what you let in through the media in terms of the energy affecting yourself and your home environment. And you will likely have to be very discerning in terms of your children, in terms of what you are letting in and what you are blocking out, so to speak.